This is Sofaville presents Once Upon a Time in St. Petersburg with Alexandra Sokolova as Tanya.
In 2003, I left St. Petersburg. Shortly before I left, I had the experience that told me I really had to leave. I lived in a tower block just outside of St. Petersburg. It looked no different than the tower blocks you see here, really, but there were a few differences, cultural, whatever. For example, each block had a policeman living in it, and he would help with any problems, but you knew how he would deal with the problems by the type of car he drove. If it was a normal car, you knew he was a normal policeman, that's his job, reliable. If it was flashy or expensive, then you knew he was corrupt and nothing was going to happen unless you made it worth his while. I lived with my mother next door to a girl with the same name as me, Tanya. She had a dog, big dog, half Alsatian, half wolf or something. They never looked after it properly, probably lived on rats and whatever it found in the bins. Claws looked like a garden rake. It would leave poop bigger than a human head in their apartment, so they let the dog walk in the hallways during the day. Not ideal, but more effective than the policeman who lived there. He drove a 2002 Lexus. One day I'm coming home, and the dog is there, top of the stairs, right outside my door. I can't get by. Now, usually I have something to tempt him out of the way, a biscuit or something, but it's summer and I've no pockets, with nowhere to put anything. Before I can get 2 steps up, the dog rises and jumps at me, the feet up in the air and the claws come down on my bare arms. I cry, "Mama, open the door," and she gets me inside and I'm crying, and she gets me in the bathroom and tries to clean the wound, and it's dirty, you know. So we go to the hospital. The steps outside have bloody abandoned cotton swabs, old injections, needles. The bottom half-meter of the building is moldy and rotten, but then so was every building in that time. We pass through reception, sit in a waiting area, and it's packed, you know. Old women, children, drunks, all the usual. An hour, nothing. 3, more, nothing. The queue hardly moves. In comes a woman, maybe 80 years old, her left foot wrapped in browning bandages and her clothes tied, probably not bought new ones since the 80s. So here it comes. First, she complains under breath. Everybody ignores her. Then she talks out loud. You know how people do when they want to satisfy themselves, that their complaining is an okay thing to do by getting someone else to respond. Yes, you are quite right. And then you feel good and righteous, even though in reality you've just made the world a little sadder with your negative choice of words. Then she launches into it. "I was here in the patriotic war. I was here against the fascists. I had to eat all manner of things to survive. I won't tell you what I saw because I never want to discuss it again. I deserve better treatment than this, blah, blah." The doctor comes in, tired, looks at his list, calls another patient who rises without energy and walks towards the doctor's office as the old woman continues complaining. So by now, my arm is hurting. It's throbbing. I've had enough. So I shout, "Enough! This is a hospital. We are all in pain. You're not unique. Just shut up, okay?" Then there is silence. for about a minute. Then she said under her breath, "Even the youth have no respect." And then she's called in anyway. The doctor eventually sees me, asks how I got the cut, cleans it, sends me out. My mother reminds me I should have got a tetanus injection. I run back in and tell the doctor. "Oh, right," he says, like I've told him where his car keys are or something, and he gives me an injection and sends me on my way. Before I go home, I have to report this to the police, and thankfully the officer I speak to at the station is young, so he isn't corrupt just yet, and while I'm talking to him, I'm next to a misty, dirty holding cell window, and a man is behind it, slowly smoking a cigarette and looking at me in case he needs to remember who I am for when he makes his list of people who go to the police for help. I get to London maybe 7 months later, after my visa is approved, because I have a technical qualification that's in demand or something. But work has been tough. Okay at first, but tough now. So I'm cleaning floors. I like it here. There are no wolf dogs roaming the streets. The police are not great, but I know I can call them if I need to. And I know I won't be stared at through cell windows. I'd tell the people here to try living elsewhere before they complain about what they have here, but I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And what's life without a little bitching once in a while?
You have been listening to Once Upon a Time in St. Petersburg with Alexandra Sokolova as Tanya. Recorded in March 2022, Once Upon a Time in St. Petersburg was written and created by Ronald Mojer for This Is Sofaville. For all social media pages on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, please follow us at This Is Sofaville, where you can find updates on all future productions.